Okay, so I'm going to do a comparison between a Breitling SuperOcean II 44mm genuine watch and a fake or replica version of the exact same watch. I don't want to promote the person I bought this from for legal reasons, so don't bother asking where I bought it from. And this is really to illustrate how close these are getting and how easily somebody could be tricked into buying a used watch thinking that it was actually a genuine watch. The replica, if you watch my unboxing video, it came with some of the stickers that are labeled Breitling on them, the tag. I mean, it could really pass as a genuine watch, unless you know exactly what to look for. And honestly, side by side is the only way that I can tell. Pictures online are almost impossible to compare and figure out which one it is that's the genuine and which one's the replica. I've had a few people try and figure out which one it is, and it's been about half and half on which one they thought was the genuine watch. So first off, if you look at it, you can see that this one here on the right has a darker bezel than the one on the left. Now the actual face of the watch is pretty much the exact same color blue. The sapphire in the watch is pretty much identical when it comes to the anti-reflection on it. Yes, you could tell the one on the left is a lighter color blue and the one on the right is darker, but how do you know which one is actually a genuine color? Which one is supposed to be closer to the dial, I guess. So I'll just go over a couple things that I've noticed when comparing these side by side and some of the obvious things that kind of show what the difference is. One thing, when you hold the watch, they weigh pretty much the exact same, if not really, really close. There's not really a way you can tell by the weight of the watch. The links are solid on the replica as they are on the genuine, and I'm pretty sure that the metal is very, very close, if not the same type of metal. It would be almost impossible, unless you had a scale and you knew exactly what it weighs, which I haven't weighed them, but they would be really, really close in weight. Well, I'll just go ahead and say which one's the real one. The one on the left with the light blue bezel is the genuine watch that I bought from Jomo Shop. The one on the right is the replica. And looking at them side by side, you could tell that the crown guards are slightly shaped different on the genuine as they are on the replica. It's hard to say which one's going to be more functional. They're not really, it's not that one sticks out more than the other, it's just kind of like they have a different shape to them, they're cut differently. I would say that the crown sticks out a little bit more on the replica than it does on the genuine. Whether that's the thickness of the crown or just the way it's sitting or the crown guards, I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of hard to tell. So the pearl on them is really, really close. I would say that the genuine on the left is probably dead center in the middle of that silver triangle on the bezel, whereas this one looks like it's sitting just a tiny bit high. It's not near as bad as the replica Omegas and the Rolex. So they did get a little bit closer, but for some reason they can't ever get that dead on centered. The grip or the cuts on the crown is shaped a little bit different on the genuine than it is on the replica. The replica is a little bit deeper, it seems, than the genuine. But turning both of them, they feel very, very similar in the way it clicks and the tightness of it. So, alright, so another thing that I noticed, which, unless you knew which one it was supposed to be, the side of the bracelet on the genuine is brushed. The side on the replica is high polished, just like the case of the watch itself. The face of the bracelet on both of them is still brushed, but for some reason on the replica they polish the sides. I'm not sure why they would do such a thing. So the clasp are really, really, really close. The way they close, the precision of them, they're not loose. The logos are slightly different. The replica has spacing in between the letters, more so, and especially on the date, than the genuine does. So the genuine, the 1884, is almost touching each one of the numbers, or almost touching each other. So that's one thing I noticed. So on the deployment, you can see this in the video. I'll take some pictures also, because it's kind of hard to get all this in focus and get everything I'm talking about here. As you can see on the top bar of the deployment, we have an engraving on there. And on the replica, it's blank. They didn't put anything on there. Breitling is a little bit different on the deployment, but it looks really, really good on the replica. I mean, it's very close. So the case back looks really close. It's hard to tell, I'm sure, on the video, but I would say that the centerpiece where it has the dull or the matte finish, it looks slightly different than it does on the genuine. Not better, not worse, just different. You can see I have a little sticker on the serial number on my case back, so it's not on the YouTube video, but that's what that white speck is taped on there. So anyway, the slackness in the bands, or the bracelets, are almost identical. I don't feel any difference at all. It feels very good on both watches. When I resized the replica, the screws in there were just as tight as when I resized my genuine. So you can't really even tell a difference taking it apart. I'd be very surprised if you took this to a jeweler to get it resized, that he would be able to tell that it was an actual replica. It's that good. The pressure relief on the side, apparently on the replica it's functional. It is, however, a little bit larger, it looks like. It is really, really close, but it's a tiny bit larger. So, like I said, side by side, you wouldn't know that it's wrong or right. It's just different. The movement, when it comes to the beats, how fast, how slow, and the ticks to the second hand, I cannot tell a difference side by side. They look identical. And one thing I did notice, if you kind of shake the watch a little bit to wind it, the movement, or the winder, the pendulum on the back or whatever, it actually makes a little bit more noise than the genuine. The genuine is smoother. This one has kind of a bearing noise to it. Not like anything's wrong with it, but just like it's an audible noise. So that's another thing I noticed. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else. The crown screws down better on the genuine than it does on the replica. It's just a little bit smoother. You can tell the threads are cut better. The actual crown itself is slightly wobbly when you pull it completely out to set the time, but it's much tighter than some of my other watches. It's surprising how much they've improved on that. I can't really think of anything else to compare them to, or that the differences are. That's pretty much it. They're really close. It's maybe if you look really, really closely at the face, you may be able to see some differences. The lume is actually really good. I wouldn't say it's as good as the genuine, but it's really good compared to what I've seen previously. It's pretty surprising, actually. But anyway, once again, I'm not promoting these. I'm actually just trying to illustrate how close it is. And everybody thinks that they can automatically tell a replica to a genuine watch. And my whole point is, it's not as cut and dry and simple as you think it is. It's not as obvious. Maybe a $20 fake Rolex would be extremely obvious. it would probably have a quartz movement. But when it comes down to some of these, I actually feel that these are intended to be sold as genuine. I don't believe that these are intended to be sold as replicas. You can buy the box, manuals, paperwork. Like I said, it came with all the stickers on it. Breitling on the stickers. I mean, if you're going to buy a replica watch and wear it to pass off as a replica, you don't need the stickers that came on the watch to validate the watch. So it's kind of frightening, actually. I have many genuine watches. I do support the watch companies. I can appreciate what they do. It's a very, very detailed, fine craftsman, and it's kind of scary how good the knockoffs are getting, and how it's getting to the point where you really have to look extremely closely. And even if you look extremely closely at the watch by itself, you almost have to have a watch identical to it side by side to actually verify that it's genuine or that it's a replica. Or maybe contact Breitling, Rolex, or whoever the vendor is and find out if they can look at the serial number and verify. But anyway, I thought I would do this video, kind of keep going with what I've done over the years, comparing some of the replicas, and let everybody know that they're actually getting better and better and better. This is the best one I've seen yet. I'm not buying another replica to see if the Omega's improved or some of the other ones, but so far this is where we're at with the Breitling. This Breitling's a newer release replica, and they just came out with the Bracelet. They did have the blue strap, but now the Bracelet came out apparently. And I believe that there's these factories in China that produce all this, all these parts, and then certain companies or people will assemble them and sell them. So once it's out to a bunch of different vendors apparently. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the comparison between a replica and a genuine Breitling. Thank you for watching.